So what I'll do now is I'll hand over to a chap who's become a friend of mine over the last few months. And you know, he's a really fantastic guy. And over the past few weeks, he's put as many leaflets through doors as anybody in our branch has, and anybody across the party. And he's had the back problems to go with it as well. So I'd like to thank him for what he's done so far. But, and I'll pass you over. Give a big Wythenshawe welcome to James Hadfield-Hyde.
Thank you very much indeed. Well, ladies and gentlemen, my aspirations to become a cut-and-thrust campaigning politician faded some time ago. And so therefore I stand before you as a very ordinary retired member of the public. But I'll say this: I cannot go to my grave in the knowledge that one day the written word of history will point an accusing finger and say that I was part of a generation who gratuitously gave away the sovereignty of this great country and that I did nothing to try and prevent it. I was born in the decade of the 1940s, and throughout the course of my life I have seen the people of these islands commit the most grievous of sins. They have allowed themselves to become complacent to the erosion of their liberty. And that liberty was paid for with the spilt blood of their forebears. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is unforgivable, and shame on all of us. Some of us in this room will remember seeing the tears of jubilation streaming down the faces of the Polish people when, through their solidarity movement, they forced perestroika and they released themselves from the clutches and the claws of the great bear that was communist Russia. And naturally, with their newfound freedom, they would wish to be adopted by that great family of freedom that is theoretically the Western world. But we in this room know that, like us, those Polish people have accepted the cold embrace of a far more sinister predator than a great bear. The European Union is a boa constrictor. Its head is in Brussels and its tail is wherever it has spied a tasty morsel. It slowly but surely asphyxiates the very breath of democracy from the lungs of each country that comes within its grasp. I have to take my hat off to them, because the European Union is unique. It is totally unique, ladies and gentlemen, in that it is an empire being built by lure and entrapment, as opposed to brute force, which is the traditional way of building empires, and we here in Great Britain have the highest doctorate's degree in that particular subject. I'm a supporter of UKIP for many reasons. Its ideology is based on nothing more complicated than common sense policies and a genuine desire to put the good of this nation and its people first. Irrespective of your colour or your creed or where you came from or where your parents came from or grandparents came from. If you love this country and you respect its traditional values and you have a genuine contribution to make, then UKIP will welcome you with open arms. Again, I say I'm not a politician, but UKIP's manifesto speaks to me in the only political language that I understand. And let us just remind ourselves: each member of Parliament swears a solemn oath to protect the liberty of our people and to maintain the sovereignty of this realm under a constitutional monarchy. And we have been systematically betrayed. I know a little bit about this betrayal because I trudged the streets of Altrincham campaigning alongside Anthony Barber in 1970. And for those of you who are far too young to remember it or to know it, he was the Chancellor of the Exchequer under Ted Heath. And under Tony's influence, as a very young and naive man, I was enthused at joining a union of trade with our close neighbours. The very concept of a stable European economic community was bred in the 1950s and 60s to meet the dreadful failures of the 1930s and 40s. But the world's moved on, and the tides of economic success have washed upon new shores, and many of those shores are Commonwealth shores. We all know too well that Britain built its wealth upon world trade and the foundation of its Commonwealth. But that liberty of trading freely with the rest of the world was removed from us with Ted Heath's signature. We have now lost complete control of our own fishing industry. We have now lost complete control of our own agricultural industry. We have lost complete control of our own environmental policies. And Her Majesty's High Court judges can be overruled by a European judiciary. But the greatest treachery of all took place on May the 31st last year, 2014, when David Cameron, Ed Miliband and Nick Clegg agreed with the surrender of the very keystone to our liberty under the law, habeas corpus and Magna Carta. What is most terrifying of all is the rush to create a European armed forces with the eventual removal of control of our own sovereign state forces. Now, can we as a people really sleep comfortably in our beds in the knowledge that our destiny and the destiny of our special relationship with the United States of America is in the hands of a European Commission President or a communist Maoist like Jose Barroso and his unelected chums? Only recently, a couple of weeks ago as a matter of fact, the Defense Secretary for the United States of America said, and I quote, "Britain must remain independently decisive in order to preserve our special relationship." Ladies and gentlemen, we've had enough of Tory arrogance and their utter contempt for the wishes of the people. We've had enough of Labour, who have become the greatest betrayers of decent working people. They who left this country nearly bankrupt and opened our doors to mass immigration, and they will do it again. We have the additional problem, of course, is that if we vote Labour, then we're now going to get sturgeon and salmon. You don't get anything any more fishy pair than those two. We've had enough of the Liberal Democrats, of course, who, like the women of the night, will sell their favours to the highest Tory or Labour bid. This election, ladies and gentlemen, is the most important one of our lifetime, before our democracy, as we have always known it, disappears forever. Once again, the time has come for us to draw our swords and put away our scabbards, for we have a political battle on our hands the like of none ever before. This young man, Lee Clayton, is Wythenshawe born and Wythenshawe bred. He's a son of Wythenshawe to be very proud of. And he will fight for you in Parliament with the same conviction that he fought in Iraq and Afghanistan, as a serving soldier in Her Majesty's forces. I'll finish by just saying this. On the cenotaph, outside the town hall in Sale, just down the road from here, are the names of my mother's two brothers. They gave their young lives for the freedom of this country, and that was a very heavy price for my grandmother to pay. Their selfless bravery has meant that in my 65 years, I have never had to take arms against an invader to these shores. Their legacy has been my liberty, and I cannot betray their sacrifice. And that is why, ladies and gentlemen, I beg you to vote for Lee Clayton, give him the opportunity to carry UKIP's banner to Westminster, and let us get our country back.